I tested every way to get promoted to director. Only one works. I've been a manager for 7 years. When will I be ready to become a director? I've managed my team successfully, so why haven't I been promoted? These are the exact questions I hear all the time from my clients. And if you're watching this, chances are you've probably asked yourself the same thing. The path to director isn't always straightforward. In fact, in a corporate setting, the progression to director level usually looks like this. You begin as an individual contributor. That's where most of us start. You're hired to do a job and you're responsible for producing results yourself. Then, if you do well, you move into management. Now, within management there are levels: junior managers, mid-level managers, and senior managers. And if you continue growing, the next big step is director. Beyond director, you step into vice president and eventually into the C-suite. On paper, it looks like a ladder. In reality, it's more like a shift in mindset and capability. Here's the reality. What makes you an excellent individual contributor is often the opposite of what makes you successful at the director level. And the same goes for managers. What makes you a strong manager does not automatically make you director material. That's why in this video, I'll share with you the key strategies to help you position yourself for a director role, even before you have the official title. Because here's the truth. Promotion is not something that happens overnight, and it doesn't just happen at performance review time. Promotion is a process. Think of it as a journey. And much of it starts with shifting your mindset. At the manager level, you can get away with being a great executor. You can shine by getting things done, making sure your team delivers, and handling operations efficiently. But at the director level, the game completely changes. Imagine it as playing a different board game. New rules, new strategies, and new ways to win. As a director, you'll need to operate cross-functionally, manage broader responsibilities, and lead teams who don't even report directly to you. You'll need to influence outcomes without always having authority. So how do you prepare for that? That's what I want to show you today using the ABCD framework for moving from manager to director. But before we dive in, make sure you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and comment below if this resonates with you. Letter A, articulate. Articulate new standards of excellence. At the director level, you're no longer just leading a team to execute existing processes. You're setting new standards, new systems, and new approaches that improve efficiency and drive results on a much larger scale. Think of it like this. A manager works within the system. A director designs and improves the system. For example, imagine you're a sales manager. Your job might be to make sure your team hits their quarterly sales numbers. You focus on coaching individuals, tracking progress, and closing deals. But a director of sales? Their role is different. They might not be closing deals themselves anymore. Instead, they're asking, is the sales process itself effective? Are we targeting the right customers? Do we have the right technology in place to scale? A director doesn't just live in the details. They zoom out and look at the bigger picture. This means you need to start practicing this skill now, even before you're promoted. Backhand index pointing right, volunteer for cross-functional projects where you'll have to collaborate outside your immediate team. Backhand index pointing right, pay attention to company-wide metrics, not just your team's performance. Backhand index pointing right, learn how your team's work ties into the larger organizational goals. For instance, let's say you're a marketing manager focused on running campaigns. Instead of only measuring clicks and conversions, start asking, how does this campaign impact long-term brand growth? How does it tie into the company's revenue targets for the year? That shift, from execution to articulation, is what positions you as a future director. Letter B, become. Become a student of your discipline. The difference between managers and directors is this. Number 1. Managers prescribe. Number 2. Directors mentor. What does that mean? Prescribing means telling your team what to do. Mentoring means teaching them how to think. As a manager, you can succeed by simply giving direction. Do this task, follow this process, meet this deadline. But as a director, that's not enough. You must understand your discipline deeply, and then help others understand why your strategies work. Here's a real-life example. Imagine you're an engineering manager. A developer comes to you with a technical problem. As a manager, you might prescribe a solution. Use this framework. Follow this method. Ship it by Friday. But as a director of engineering, your role changes. You might not even be the technical expert anymore. Instead, you're mentoring managers to develop their own problem-solving skills. You're asking bigger questions like, how do we build scalable systems? How do we create a culture of quality in engineering? In other words, you stop prescribing tasks and start mentoring thought processes. This requires clarity, strong communication, and the ability to explain the why behind your vision. So how do you build this skill? Backhand index pointing right. Study your discipline deeply, not just how things are done but why they're done that way. Backhand index pointing right. Develop frameworks and mental models you can teach others. Backhand index pointing right. Practice explaining complex ideas simply so your managers, and even executives outside your field, can understand. The goal isn't to be the smartest person in the room. The goal is to help others become smarter because of your leadership. Letter C. Charter. Charter the course for your company. Managers focus on day-to-day execution. Directors focus on what's next. As a director, you're expected to chart the course of growth, innovation, productivity, and strategy. That means: Number 1. Evaluating bottlenecks. Number 2. Anticipating challenges. Number 3. Designing systems that will help the organization scale. For example, let's say you're a customer support manager. Your team's goal is to resolve tickets quickly and keep customers happy. But as a director of customer experience, your role is bigger. You need to think about: how do we reduce ticket volume in the first place? Can we use AI or self-service tools? How do we transform the customer experience long-term? See the difference? Managers implement. Directors innovate. Another example: a manager in operations might focus on making sure shipments go out on time. A director of operations, on the other hand, looks ahead and says, if our order volume triples in 2 years, will our systems handle it? What new partnerships or technology should we adopt to prepare? That's why directors are judged differently. You're no longer evaluated on how well you implement tasks. You're judged on how well you shape the company's future. So start practicing now. Backhand index pointing right. Look at your company's strategic goals for the next 2 to 3 years. Backhand index pointing right. Ask yourself, what role can my function play in achieving them? Backhand index pointing right. Propose initiatives that prepare the company for growth. When you begin thinking this way, leaders will notice. You'll be seen not just as a manager doing your job, but as someone capable of charting the course for the organization. Letter D. Develop. Develop great future managers. Directors think about legacy. As a manager, you're focused on building competencies in your team members. You coach individuals. You help them hit their performance targets. But as a director, your job expands. You're no longer just mentoring individuals, you're coaching managers so they can lead teams effectively. This is a big shift. It requires you to step back from the details and instead focus on leadership development. For example, think about a sports analogy. A manager is like a team captain. They play on the field, lead by example, and keep the team aligned. A director, however, is like the coach. They're not playing the game themselves anymore. Instead, they're developing captains who can lead their own squads. So as a director, your impact multiplies. Instead of influencing 10 direct reports, you might be influencing 5 managers who each lead 10 people, which means you're indirectly impacting 50 people. That's how you scale leadership. So how do you build this skill? Backhand index pointing right. Start mentoring other managers now, even informally. Backhand index pointing right. Share your leadership lessons with peers. Backhand index pointing right. Offer to coach newer managers in your organization. By doing this, you're already showing that you can create the next generation of leaders, which is exactly what directors are expected to do. Recap of the ABCD framework. Let's recap the ABCD framework for moving from manager to director. A. Articulate new standards of excellence. B. Become a student of your discipline. C. Charter the course for the company. D. Develop great future managers. If this message resonates with you, comment below and let me know your biggest takeaway. What's one shift you realize you need to make today? And remember, becoming a director isn't just about waiting for the promotion. It's about playing a different game entirely. I'll see you in the next video.